the WBC this week in boxing, say everybody's fighting everybody. We're making hella orders, and we got to make it happen. First and foremost, we got the information that Errol Spence Jr. ordered to fight Keith Thurman for his WBC belt. Andy Ruiz Jr., Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder, Tuscaloosa, Alabama, ordered to fight as a title eliminator for the WBC crown that Tyson Fury currently has. And Issac Pitbull Cruz ordered to fight Shakur Stevenson on his ascension up to 135 as another title eliminator. I'm going to be breaking that fight down. Shakur Stevenson, Issac Cruz, 135-pound tilt. What does that fight look like? I'll give you the keys to victory, and quite honestly, what a guy like Issac Pitbull Cruz has to do in order to have any level of success against Shakur Stevenson, because I'm telling you right now in this video, it's going to be an uphill battle. Stick tuned to the end, because I have some numbers you want to see that are going to make this breakdown very interesting. Before we go any further, the first thing that I want to say is this. When a sanctioned body orders fights in boxing, it doesn't mean much of anything other than you have some decisions to make. But ultimately, it doesn't mean we're going to get these fights. I think for the Deontay Wilder Andy Ruiz fight, we'll probably get it, in my opinion, hopefully. Not sure we'll get Thurman or Spence, even though I like the fight. And it's already sounding like the Cruz camp is not super interested in fighting a guy like Shakur Stevenson, and I can't be mad at him. This video is not going to help their cause. Let's get into the breakdown. What do we know about Issac Pitbull Cruz? All-action fighter, come-forward fighter, good power, fearless, but we also know he's lacking on the defense. He's not hard to find if you are a sharp puncher, and his head is available to be hit. What do we know about Shakur Stevenson? He's a fortress. He's a pound-for-pound best, in my opinion, top 3 or 4. Yeah, I said that. From 126 to 140, in my opinion, Shakur Stevenson is the best out there. That's to include names like Gervonta Tank Davis, Devin Haney, Vasyl Lomachenko, Teofimo Lopez, and there's a host of other fighters in and around that weight division that are very, very good. And I feel like Shakur Stevenson is the cream of the crop. I think time will tell over time, or that was weird. Time will tell over time. Over time, we will know, and it will tell if I was right or wrong. I don't think I'm going to be wrong on this one. Let's break the fight down. My first area of concern for a guy like an Issac Pitbull Cruz. Come forward a fighter. We love that as boxing fans or combat sports fans. A guy that's going to come forward and put it on the line. We love that. He has 0 lead hand action. Let's get into the clips right now. Yuriokas Gamboa, even though he's able to put him on skates, get a lot of damage off, and you understand he may be trying to close a show in these clips, look at the fact that he doesn't set any of his work up. Peekaboo defensive style, which we're going to get into more later, coming forward hands high and just throwing heat. Where he's going to get into trouble is this, 2 areas. Coming forward recklessly, and the second area here, if you take a look back at the clip, when he's finding success against Gamboa, you'll also see him start to throw from a little too far outside. Beginning his combination punches, looking for heavy shots a little too far outside. Against a guy like Gamboa, who's smaller than Shakur Stevenson, he does have good hand speed and good power, but he doesn't have the ability to dominate the distance in the manner in which a Shakur Stevenson does. This will be problematic for a guy like Issac Pitbull Cruz going up against a bona fide sharpshooter in Shakur Stevenson. The number 2 thing that I think about with Issac Cruz and Shakur Stevenson, it's similar to a fight that we saw many moons ago. Floyd Mayweather Jr., Marcos Maidana, the first one. One of the things that allowed Marcos Maidana to have any measure of success in that first fight is he utilized a jab. It's not something he was known for before. He was similar to Cruz. I think he had more power for the division, comparatively speaking. But in the first Floyd Mayweather fight, he utilized a jab. It wasn't a great jab. It wasn't like he's just stinging him with it and hitting him just crazy. But it allowed him to close the distance more effectively and safely, and then land to the body and then rough up Floyd on the inside. Take a look at the clips here. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about. This shot here is not the best angle, but you see him close the distance with a jab, immediately go to the body, and put himself in a position to land shots against Floyd Mayweather. Going back to Shakur Stevenson and Issac Cruz. If you can get something done against a guy using a peekaboo style, head movement side to side, i.e. Mike Tyson and Rekadu, that's great. But as you ascend the ladder of competition, you have to have more versatility. A lead hand is going to be vital for you. And I haven't seen a video and watching all of this tape where Issac Pitbull Cruz utilizes a lead hand that would allow me to say, you know what? He can get to Shakur. He can land power. He can set it up and be more versatile. It's going to be an uphill battle from that perspective. If I change lanes for just a second, Shakur Stevenson, I don't really have anything hypercritical to say about him. He's extraordinarily confident and supremely talented. When you think about the deficiencies I just described about an Issac Pitbull Cruz, and you think about where does Shakur Stevenson excel? Crazy accurate jab, dumbass ring generalship. He really dominates the distance. There's only really one guy you can say that's better at controlling the range in the course of a fight, and that's Dimitri Bivol. Shakur Stevenson has an outstanding way of applying passive pressure. When you take a look at the clips here, he's always right there at the end of your shots. You feel like you have an opportunity to get to him, and then he makes you pay for any overreach, any mistake, any poorly placed shot. Even if you can get to his body, he'll catch you. His uppercuts are crazy. His uppercut game is nice. It's just going to be a tall order for a fighter like a Pitbull Cruz, who is lacking the physical dimensions of like an Oscar Valdez or Robinson Conceição, fighters that he beat handily to close a distance. And what I would say about Oscar Valdez is good speed, good power. He was completely nullified by the skill and ability of a Shakur Stevenson. You've seen Issac Pitbull Cruz in a fight with a fighter in which he lost, and Gervonta Tank Davis. If we look at the tape right here, it's a short clip. A fighter of Gervonta Tank Davis's skills and ability, his acumen, his boxing IQ, with an injured hand, able to keep Cruz at distance for enough of the fight to get a decision victory, utilizing clean, straight shots, excellent footwork, and a jab. And I would say that Shakur Stevenson I'll give him, he has a size and reach advantage over Gervonta Tank Davis. And I think he has a better jab. Gervonta Tank Davis, I think, is better power. He has brutal one-touch power. He's more explosive, and he does a great job of closing the distance. I would give those nods to Tank Davis. But when we're breaking down an Issac Cruz fighter against a Shakur Stevenson, we saw Tank Davis kind of control and dictate distance, a smaller fighter. Shakur Stevenson's going to really have a walk in the park from that perspective. I want to take a second to focus on the Oscar Valdez fight. Now, I'm going to do a small segue because I like talking about this fight. When I broke this fight down, the videos are still up. Check them out if you get a chance. I said that Oscar Valdez was probably going to get stopped, cooked by Shakur Stevenson because of his inability to be defensively versatile and utilize the lead hand. Now, he has a jab. Cruz doesn't have, he don't have a jab. He just don't have, I don't even know if they work on that shit in the gym, but you saw what Shakur Stevenson was able to do against Valdez, really put him in, let's take a look at the clip here, put him in no man's land, make him live at mid-distance, land shots from the outside, ultimately dropping him and catching him with vicious counter shots and dominating him on the way to victory and taking his WBC title. Issac Cruz is not Oscar Valdez. I think Oscar Valdez would have a tough fight with Cruz, but would ultimately beat him. Even in the fight against Robinson Conceição, who did a good job changing levels, going to Shakur's body, ultimately the sharpshooting, the accuracy on the punches, and the power that people say that Shakur doesn't have starts to show up later in the fight. Take a look at the clip here. You see a short shot to the body. It's hard to see, but it puts Robinson Conceição down. The referee looks to the ringside to verify that it was indeed a knockdown, gives a count to Robinson Conceição. The fight continues. But ultimately, these are fighters that are naturally bigger than Cruz, that being Valdez and Conceição, and Shakur was much bigger than Conceição. He didn't make weight, gave up his belts on the scale. But ultimately, in a fight like this, when you have a guy as skilled and as gifted as a Shakur Stevenson, it really doesn't matter about the ferocious nature and the comfort style and being relentless, that of a Issac Cruz. You will get chewed up and spit out and just be another name on the list. Now, the exciting thing about it is if they do get this fight done, it is a title eliminator, and ultimately we will see Shakur Stevenson fight against one of the best guys in the division. We know that Devin Haney's in negotiation with Vasily Lomachenko to see that fight happen. I'm pretty confident that's what takes place. Shakur Stevenson, he either fights Pitbull Cruz or another guy, a name-known guy. I'd like to see him fight at 35. And then we get to see what happens thereafter down the road. Ultimately, Shakur Stevenson is one of the best fighters in boxing. I want to show you some stats to support that. The three graphics you see on the screen right now are plus minus, power punches landed against, and total punches landed against. Shakur Stevenson is the best in the business. Shout out to Dimitri Bivol, Demetrius Andrade, Terrence Crawford makes these lists as well. But the plus minus, and look at the discrepancy in the number too. It's not like other guys are close. You cannot find this dude. He's going to land more than you land against him. You can't find him with power, and you can't find him with total punches. This is not an accident. This trend will continue, and it is why I rate Shakur Stevenson right now from 126 to 140 pounds, the best in the business. This is your boy JG. This has been the Punch Report. If you've made it this far, you're definitely a real one. Please like, subscribe, bell icon for notification. Let me know what other fights you want to see me break down. This has been my time. We out.